Hello ladies, incontinence during perimenopause and menopause, the dreaded leakage. Why does it happen and what can be done? Well, along with hot flashes, night sweats, anxiety, weight gain, and loss of libido, urinary problems are right up there at the top of the symptom list. This is very common. Do not be embarrassed and don't just accept it. There is help. Now, there are two types of incontinence. Urge incontinence, which is the sensation of needing to get to a bathroom right away to avoid an accident. I had this one, and I can tell you, my sister and I, we live in California, we used to like to go to baseball games. We'd always have to get me next to the bathroom. We'd always have to, make sure I was ready to go before I had to go, because I had that urge incontinence. The other one is called stress incontinence. That's when you're losing urine when you have any abdominal pressure, like a cough or a sneeze. And you can have both. Well, why does this happen during menopause? First of all, your incontinence is more common in women who have given birth, either naturally or by C-section. This is because these take a toll on the pelvic floor and can affect nerve endings. So you can be just fine until you reach the perimenopause and menopausal years. And at this time, when your estrogen levels start to drop, it has a significant effect on the level of collagen in the pelvic floor, the bladder, the urethra, and the bladder neck. So you can experience urgency, frequency, and stress leakage. It can come on quite suddenly, within 6 to 12 months. It can be dramatic and scary, but does not need to be. Okay, what can be done? First and foremost, I hope you're all using your estrogen progesterone creams topically, because this will prevent the problem from occurring or getting worse. But you can also use local estrogen. Now, you want bioidentical hormones, of course. Now, using these creams will improve collagen around the bladder neck, and the urethra. So you get a bladder that is more elastic, stretchy, and less irritable. So your bladder will be less rigid and less likely to leak. Hormones also impact the pH of our urine, so then you're less likely to get cystitis or a urinary tract infection. Now, I have a separate video on UTIs if this is a problem for you, and I'll put the link below. And if you watch my videos, you know, and if you do, thank you, you know that I am a huge fan of progesterone. But when it comes to these genital tract problems, estrogen is very protective. You want estriol or estradiol, no synthetics, and there are great suppositories that I can tell you about. So what else to do? You want to alter your intake of fluid habits. So cut out or reduce caffeinated drinks like coffee, tea, and Coca-Cola. Switch to decaf alternatives, because caffeine is a very potent stimulator of the bladder muscle and can contribute to the urgency. Alcohol, especially red wine, can be very stimulating to the bladder. Now, you don't have to teetotal, but try cutting back for a month and see how that impacts your bladder function. If it doesn't do anything, then you'll know that's not your issue. If your situation improves, then you'll know that alcohol is a trigger for you. An important note, it is not true that restricting fluids will help you, because this will make your urine more highly concentrated, and that can irritate the bladder. So although it may sound logical to you, excessive restriction of fluids is counterproductive. Now, if you struggle with getting up in the night, you can start restricting your fluids after 7 or 8 p.m. But don't restrict during the day. Your body needs sufficient fluids. Okay, now on to the famous Kegel exercises. Kegels are also known as pelvic floor exercises. They're great for the stress incontinence when you sneeze or cough and lose urine. Kegels strengthen the muscles in the vagina and the bladder. However, Lots of women, many women, do not do them correctly, and therefore they're not pulling the right muscles and achieving results. So listen, here's how to do them. Try to act like you're stopping the flow of urine and squeeze your pelvic floor muscle. You can do this when you're sitting comfortably. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Do this 10 to 15 times in a row. You can do it anywhere, brushing your teeth, waiting for the kettle to boil. I love tea, so that's a great time for me. Or just sitting in a chair at your desk. Now, there are some devices on the market. They're inserted vaginally, and they're programmed by remote to do the exercise and supposedly activate the muscles. But I have learned that many women who've tried these devices become demoralized after several months because they saw it made no difference for their money. So I would go with the good old Kegels. Easy and cheap. Okay, urinary incontinence, no more. Take charge, ladies. The longer you leave it, the worse it gets. If you do nothing, it's not going to get better. It will get worse year after year after year. Now, if you'd like my written information on the estrogen suppository product that I know and trust and use myself, email me. I carry it, but it's not online. I'm really careful about putting bioidentical estrogen online, but I am here to help you, so you can email or call me. No depends for us.